Total personal income of the country in billions of dollars for selected years from 1957 to 2002 is given in the table. Part A, write the exponential function. So that's key. It's telling us that we already have an exponential function modeled by this data with x as the number of years after 1957. And we're going to round our answer to 3 decimals. So if x is the number of years after 1957, before we put these in our list, we're going to have to adjust our years. So 1957 is going to be year 0. 1967 is 10 years later. 1977 is 20 years after 1957. 1987 is 30 years after 1957. And 1997 would be 40, and then 45. So what I would do is go ahead and enter those numbers into my lists. This year is going to be list 1, and my personal income is going to be list 2. So what you'll do is go to Stat and Edit and put those numbers in to your tables. Now I already have my plot 1 turned on, so at this time I will press Zoom 9, and that puts the points on the graph as well as set the window. We are asked to find the exponential function, but you should recall, if you look at the points, that those do follow the exponential path. So we're going to find the exponential function. And in order to do that, I press Stat, I go over to Calculate, and I'm going to go down to Command 0, which is exponential regression, and I'm going to press Enter. And then I'm going to go all the way down to Calculate, and I should come up with my equation. Now when we write our equation down, it says round to 3 decimal places. So y equals a 446.663 times, according to the equation, b, so I'll put my b in parentheses, 1.076, and that is going to be to the x power. So this is the format for writing your exponential function using the data from your calculator. You can look at your r² and recognize that this is pretty close to 1, therefore we have a good model. Alright, so now we have our equation, and in order to do some predictions, we're going to have to enter that equation into the y equals. So y equals, I'm going to turn off my plot 1, and then I'm going to type in my equation. 446.663 parenthesis 1.076 parenthesis to the x power. And I'm going to press Graph. Now, the equation says, what will the personal income be in 2007? Remember that our x values were from the year 1957. So 2007 minus 1957 would give me an x value of 50. So I'm going to press trace 50. Now, I got an error. And remember, if we get an error, that means because our window is not large enough. And if I go into my window, I see that my x maximum is 49.5. And I'm putting in a 50 for x. So I need to make the x maximum larger than 50 so that I can see that point on the graph. I'll just put in a 60. So I put in an X maximum is 60 and then graph. Now, when we do trace 50, we should be able to come up with a Y value. And I get Y equals 17,401.775. And remember that the income was in billions of dollars. So that answer is in billions of dollars. Our last question says, in what year does the model predict the personal income will reach $23 trillion? Now, trillion is 1,000 more, or 1,000 times the billions. So I'm going to have to convert 23 to 23,000 so that I am in the billion, which is the unit that is used in this problem. And that is our Y value. We want to figure out what X is. So I'm going to go into my Y equals, and I'm going to go to Y2, and I'm going to put in 23,000, and then I'm going to graph. And I don't see anything. And the reason I don't see anything is because my Y maximum, if I go back to my window, is 11,904. So I need to make my Y maximum larger than 23,000. So I'll just make it 30,000. And then I'll press the graph. And now we see both lines, and our solution will be where those two lines intersect. So second, trace, command number 5, which is intersect, and then press enter 3 times. And I get X equals 54 if I round to the nearest whole number. So if we want to know what year that is, I need to take 54 plus my starting year, which was 1957. And 54 plus 1957 is 2011. So that is the year in which our income will reach 23 trillion for this particular country.